let's be honest. Billionaires are not just in another tax bracket, they are in another dimension. When you're on the fence about whether to splurge on extra guacamole at Chipotle, Elon Musk is on the fence about whether to splurge on another rocket. As you're scrolling through Zillow debating the sanity of a studio with character, Jeff Bezos is scrolling through architectural plans for his $500 million next yacht, with an attached submarine. It's like comparing Monopoly money to actual currency, and spoiler, you're the one running around with the Monopoly money. This is why we love them, though, isn't it? Billionaires are the live, in-the-flesh reality shows we never wanted, but just can't tear our eyes away from. They purchase toys so big they require toys smaller than them in order to play with them. They hoard cars, watches and houses the way the rest of us collect stress. They are eccentric, over-the-top, occasionally preposterous, and completely irresistible. And now, today, we are diving deep into their shiny, jet-fueled, diamond-encrusted world. We mean their private jets, and their floating palaces on water, and their real estate empires, and their cars, and their watches, and the strange, extravagant habits that make them, well, billionaires. Airplanes. First class is essentially public transportation. Here's the thing, billionaires don't just fly, they own the skies. Commercial flights? Please. First class? Child's play. When you are worth billions of dollars, you do not rub elbows, or arms, as it were, with strangers who hog peanuts. You purchase your own flying mansion. Take Jeff Bezos, for example. The man who gave you 2-day shipping also owns a bunch of private jets, and he can get from any spot on the planet to any other spot on the planet faster than it takes you to get a pizza delivered. His go-to? Yes, the Bentley of the sky is a bizarrely appropriate descriptor of the Gulfstream G650ER. Price tag? A modest $75 million. And by immodest, I mean modest in the sense that the upkeep alone sets you back more per annum than your college tuition. Then there's Elon Musk, the man who decided electric cars and reusable rockets weren't hobbies enough. His aircraft of choice? Also the Gulfstream G650ER. Yes, billionaires are very similar to teenage gamers. When one gets the new toy, everyone else has to get it as well. But Musk has no hang-ups about it. His Gulfstream is tracked nearly every day online, which he says is a security concern, but let's be honest, he really kind of revels in the attention. After all, what's the point of having a $70 million airplane if nobody knows you have it? Bill Gates, the guy who can purchase a small country before he finishes his morning coffee, is also in the private jet game. But here's the fun twist, he's also one of the most vocal climate change advocates. Nothing screams, save the planet, quite like a Bombardier BD 700 Global Express with a thirst for fuel like it's an all-you-can-drink happy hour. He did, to be fair, at a later date, buy carbon credits to neutralize his flights. Which is sort of like eating 3 Big Macs and following them up with a Diet Coke. And then there's Roman Abramovich, the Russian billionaire who owns jets the way others might collect Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. His most famous? A Boeing 767 with black cockpit windows and an unofficial nickname, the Bandit. This is no commercial Boeing, oh no. It was refitted by Abramovich with a missile defense system. Yes, you heard me. A missile defense system. Since you never know when an intercontinental ballistic missile may interfere with your in-flight movie. But jets are more than just for travel. They're about flexing. Billionaires change the insides of their planes like the rest of us change our iPhones. Bathrooms encrusted in gold, seats lined with silk, a wine cellar in the sky, why not hydrate with Chateau Lafite Rothschild 1996? And those little in-flight TVs that make you feel like you're squinting into a microwave? Billionaires trade those in for 42-inch flat screens and surround sound systems that would make your local movie theater envious. So yes, the next time you fold yourself into your middle seat with no legroom and a weeping infant 3 rows back, rest assured, above you, a billionaire is sipping champagne in a pair of slippers costing more than your car. Yachts, mansions that float. Now, let's slide seamlessly from the sky to the sea, because if billionaires control the air, they own the ocean. And by yachts, I don't mean those cute little boats that you see parked at a marina with a sign on the side that says, "Seize the day." By which I mean floating cities with their own postal codes. Let's take a trip back through Jeff Bezos because when you're worth more than $150 billion, one hobby isn't good enough. He recently ordered a yacht that was so large it had to thread its way through bridges in Rotterdam to get out of the shipyard. How massive? What about 417 feet long, with its own support yacht? Yes, a yacht that comes with its very own yacht, with a helipad. Because every now and then, billionaires don't feel like walking from one side of the boat to the other and would rather just fly there instead. With his famous vessel Eclipse, Roman Abramovich takes the notion of yacht ownership to ridiculous extremes. Cost? Around $1.5 billion. Yes, billion with a B. It features 2 helipads, a disco hall, a missile defense system, yes, for missile paranoia, and it comes with a mini submarine. Yes, that's a submarine aboard a yacht. Because why not? Because swimming on the surface of the world's oceans isn't thrilling enough for you. Then there is Bernard Arnault, the French luxury meister and chief executive of LVMH. His yacht, Symphony, is not merely a yacht, it is a 6-deck floating Versailles. It has an infinity pool, a glass-bottom lounge floors and interior design so chic you'll feel underdressed just looking at pictures of it. Picture cruising the Mediterranean in a palace that can move. That's Arnault's Tuesday afternoon. Remember Larry Ellison, co-founder of Oracle and part-time driver of Exotic Hobbies? His yacht Musashi, for instance, is named after Onodera Yoshimitsu Musashi no Kami, a Japanese samurai from the 16th century, because nothing says ancient warrior spirit like sipping martinis on a 288-foot floating spa. The yachts of Ellison are famous enough to have inspired an entire subculture of yacht spotting. Yes, people really do track billionaires' yachts the way birdwatchers track rare owls. But really, why do these yachts even matter? It's not just about sailing. It's about status. Yachts are billionaire peacocks, floating feathers used to communicate power, wealth and, let's face it, overcompensation. After all, no one wants a billion-dollar floating hotel with a missile defense system. But billionaires don't do need. They do why not? Oh, and here's the kicker, buying yachts is not just expensive. They're expensive to maintain. We're talking $50 to $100 million per year just in maintenance. That's crew salaries, fuel and maintenance and enough caviar to feed an army. Put it in perspective, most people will work their whole life and never earn enough money to pay the gas bill for a billionaire's yacht. So the next time you moan about dropping $80 to fill up the gas tank in your car, think about that. Abramovich likely spends more idling in the harbor. So, we've conquered the skies and we've covered the oceans on which transport depends. Billionaires have their wings, their floating fortresses, their missile-stopping playthings. But what if they decide later that they'd like to return to dry land? Well, hold on to your hat, because their property makes their jets and yachts look like so many peanuts before the main course. And that's exactly where we're going in part 2, to the mansions, the cars, the watches, the peculiarities and, finally, the question we're all asking, why can't we get our minds off the people who can purchase countries the way we buy groceries? If yachts are floating palaces, then billionaire mansions are the castles they retire to when they're done playing at pirates. And let's be clear, when we say house, we're not having a cozy little 5-bedroom suburb dream in mind. We're talking houses so huge you could misplace your children in them and not see them again until Christmas. Consider Bill Gates's legendary mansion, Xanadu 2.0. Because of course you can name your house like a Marvel supervillain's lair. It is in Medina, Washington, and is valued at more than $130 million. So technologically advanced is the house that guests are given electronic pins they carry on them that control the light, music and temperature so that as they move from room to room, their preferences are automatically adjusted. Yes, Gates's house knows you better than you know yourself. You're not a guest, you're part of the software. Not to be outdone, Jeff Bezos has multiple mega mansions, because of course one just isn't enough. His 9-acre Beverly Hills estate boasts a massive main house, a guest house, a greenhouse, and more bathrooms than more than a few small towns. He also acquired the Warner estate for $165 million, formerly owned by a Hollywood studio mogul. Bezos doesn't purchase homes, that is, what he buys are fragments of American history, which he then fortifies to survive a zombie apocalypse. And then there's Larry Ellison again, who it seems treats real estate the way most people treat Pokemon cards. He has several homes in Malibu, whole islands in Hawaii, and a Japanese-style villa in California. Yes, an entire island. Larry Ellison owns 98% of the Hawaiian island of Lanai. Picture living somewhere and one day discovering that the local couple who rent you the space aren't your landlord after all. No, they just have some key to somebody who has the keys to somebody who knows someone who was waiting for you all along, like a Silicon Valley billionaire who, speaking of rent, probably does indeed accept payment in rare sushi. But never to be outdone, Roman Abramovich has Kensington Palace Gardens in London. It's called Billionaires Row, because the homes would put Buckingham Palace to shame, were it not for the occasional covetous billionaire who doesn't fit in the bed-stewy brownstones it surrounds. Abramovich's mansion has underground swimming pools, a private health center and enough security to turn MI6 green for envy. It's that kind of place, the sort where the staff likely live better than most people. And yet, for all this grandeur, one thing is evident: billionaires don't actually reside in their houses. They don't have the time, they're busy flying in their planes or sailing in their yachts. They're more like trophies in the form of houses, architectural flexes that call out diligently to an era beamed down from guess who's coming to dinner: I have more money than your whole bloodline. They're statements, not residences. Anyway, you can't actually live in a house where the walk between the kitchen and the living room is a 10-minute walk to work. Keywords: what is the point of that driveway bigger than a small airport if you haven't filled it with cars that cost more than hospitals? Billionaires' cars are more than just transportation. They're rolling jewelry. Elon Musk has a Lotus Esprit submarine car from the James Bond movie The Spy Who Loved Me. There he literally went and bought a movie prop, because when you're Elon Musk, you don't collect Funko Pops, you collect submarines that look like cars. He also has McLarens, Teslas, of course, and a talent for transforming his own garage into a billionaire's toy chest. Bernard Arnault, the luxury king, possesses a car collection that could be a syllabus for a $1 billionaire starter pack: Rolls-Royces, Bentleys, Bugattis. The cars you and I Google just to be sad. Good thing, because for Arnault, they're merely options depending on if he's in the mood for chauffeured elegance or terrifying speed. Jeff Bezos has even more unusual predilections, by contrast. Despite his empire, Ray rode a freaking Honda Accord for decades as his personal car. Yes, and one of the richest men on earth drove something that might and also could be your Uber. Was it humility? Nostalgia? Or simply his trolling of the rest of the billionaire class? That was, of course, before he graduated to vehicles such as Ferraris and Lamborghinis, because apparently, one day Amazon Prime gets you a Bugatti. And Roman Abramovich? He doesn't play around. His repertoire includes rare Ferraris, Porsches and Aston Martins, but the focus is on armored cars. Yes, his rides are bulletproof. Since, you know, when you're a billionaire with questionable political associations, you just never know when your next grocery trip could call for tank-level protection. The thing is, billionaires don't really drive these cars as you or I would. They're too valuable. These cars are kept in storage, or on display, or only dusted off for special occasions, and to be shown off at parties. Driving a $3 million Bugatti on the highway is basically the equivalent of wearing a wedding dress to the gym. You can, but why? Billionaires, after all, want to own the scarcity, not use it. Cars are, suddenly, art, only noisier, shinier and a lot more expensive to insure. Time is money, and money can be used to buy time. Let's talk about watches now, because there is nothing that screams, I am wealthier than you, so much as fastening a small house onto your wrist. Billionaires are not drawn to watches because they need to know the time, they've all got iPhones, for Pete's sake, but because a timepiece is the only kind of bling durable enough to handle their rough and tumble, white-collar worlds. These aren't just timepieces. They're investments, collector's items, jewel-like mechanical miracles that whisper exclusivity every time that second hand clicks. Take Bernard Arnault. As the head of LVMH, he not only owns luxury watches, he is the luxury watch business. Think Tag Heuer, Hublot and Zenith. Arnault likely has drawers of watches worth more than your entire neighborhood. He knows when he looks at the time he's checking uptime, and by proxy, he's checking his profit margin. Jeff Bezos has been snapped with the wristwatch similar to the Ulysses Nardin Dual Time, which is priced between $10,000 and $15,000. File, for him, that's roughly analogous to you buying a Timex you got on sale at Target. He's also said to own several ultra-rare pieces that collectors might sell their souls to him for. Elon Musk, the tech bro, Natch, cares less about a luxury watch of yore, and more about watches of the future. But when he does wear a watch, it's often a Tag Heuer Carrera Caliber 1887. It's slick, it's cool, it's just over the top enough that you think, sure, this guy probably knows what time it is even while launching rockets, I'll give him that. Roman Abramovich? Oh, he goes hard. We're speaking, after all, of Richard Mille watches that can sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars. These are the types of watches that don't just show you the time so much as they remind you that you'll never financially recover from having looked at them. But here's the thing, billionaires don't purchase watches specifically to wear every day. They purchase them like you buy stocks. Watches increase in value, particularly rare ones. So don't just think of it as an appendage when you see a billionaire sporting a Patek Philippe Grand Complication worth millions of dollars. It's an investment portfolio masquerading as wrist candy. Quirks and extravagant habits, the billionaire bonus round. Now, here's the fun part. Because beyond planes, yachts, houses, cars and watches, billionaires seriously love some bizarre purchases. Consider Elon Musk again. He actually sold flamethrowers through the Boring Company, which is hilarious. Not that the world needed flamethrowers, but because he thought it was funny. And people bought them. Because when Elon Musk says, jump, people don't merely ask how high. They want to know, can I buy the limited edition merchandise that comes with it? And there's Mark Zuckerberg, who, according to the Mercury News, spent more than $30 million to purchase all the houses surrounding his Palo Alto home, not to live in, but to make sure they wouldn't have neighbors. That's billionaire-level introversion. You don't just pull the blinds, you buy the whole neighborhood. Google's founders, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, have their own private airport hangar in San Jose. I mean, why park your plane in the public hangar when you could own it outright? And don't get us started on Rihanna, who is now a billionaire because of Fenty Beauty. She's been known to spend $1 million for a performance on a crystal-encrusted Gucci bodysuit. Was it practical? Absolutely not. Was it iconic? You bet. The reality is, billionaires are spending money on stuff we don't even think about. Rare wines, space tourism, private islands, exotic animals. Richard Branson constructed his very own private island resort, the Asshole. Bezos took it a step further and started his own space company. Billionaires inhabit a reality that seems quaint compared to The Sims. They travel in jets that are also mansions, sail yachts with submarines inside them, live in houses bigger than stadiums, collect cars that could pay for hospitals, wear watches that could fund universities, and dabble in hobbies that run from flamethrowers to private islands. And yet, somehow, we can't stop watching. They are symbols, after all, billionaires, not merely rich people. They are the ultimate what if. What would you do if you had all the money in the world? Would you buy a jet? A yacht? An island? Or would you be like Bezos and drive a Honda Accord for the hell of it? Theirs is a strange juxtaposition of inspirational story and slapstick, of admiration and disbelief. They are evidence that money not only alters what you can afford to buy, but also what you believe. And while we may never drink champagne on a $500 million yacht, we can't help but look through the windows of their insane lives and laugh, gawk, and maybe, just maybe, fantasize a little. So the next time you are squeezed into coach, sandwiched between two rivals warring for an armrest, just think, somewhere above you, a billionaire is sipping vintage wine, glancing at the $10,000 watch on his wrist and asking himself whether to purchase his next island. Not that they would, mind you, other than they have no reason not to.